I come to you with a video that's going to have multiple parts. So the reason why this video is being filmed is because I saw a TikTok and it just really inspired me to read this book, which is called Billionaire Wilderness. Here's a TikTok.
Are they all in a group chat together? Where are they staying? Is this someone's house? We see they're in Idaho, which, side note, we all need to go to Idaho. Look how pretty it is.
So everybody's going crazy over this picture that Kristen Bell posted of just her and all her mostly white friends hanging out in Idaho. And first of all, what that woman said, oh, we should all go to Idaho. They're all in Idaho because Idaho is one of those states that's like super friendly to rich people. Meanwhile, poor people have to pay most of the taxes there. Which is why you should read Billionaire Wilderness. It's about how like rich white people like these are going to these states to take advantage of their tax breaks and then try to dress like they're regular farmers, regular folk, when really they're all millionaires here. And remember, a lot of these rich white people are getting together right now because of the writer's strike. They have no work right now. Meanwhile, you got all those writers, a lot of people of color, picketing and striking just so they can get paid enough so they can eat from job to job. And talking about food, I'm sure Jennifer Aniston didn't cook all this food, take care of all this property, clean this whole house. Yeah, they won't show you the people that actually do the work to make their life comfortable. And remember, you hate some millionaires, but you love other ones who make you laugh and they just seem so nice. They're still part of the fucking problem.
So in my my notes in my phone, I have some points that I want to address, and I'm not going to be able to go into full detail about everything that happens in this book, but I'm going to let you know of my opinion of what I think is happening, what the book said, just some astounding stats, and just what the actual fuck. So Billionaire Wilderness is a book that was written by this guy who went to Teton, Montana. It's the county, Teton County, Montana, and he went there to understand the ultra rich. And I didn't know that the word ultra rich existed. So of course I went to the internet. This is the definition of what it means to be ultra rich. And ultra rich are people with a net worth of at least $30 million. This category is composed of the wealthiest people in the world who controls a tremendous amount of global wealth. This group of people is small in terms of total population, but it continues to grow. Speaking of population, so again, I strongly urge you to read the book, but I'm going to give you what the book is talking about, but I'm also gonna paraphrase. So a lot of what I'm saying, unless I'm saying this is a quote, it would be a paraphrase of my interpretations of this book. So as we're looking at this definition, and it's saying who control a tremendous amount of the global wealth, it just reminds me of when the author talks about how this town, Teton County, in Montana, how there is so much wealth in this county, and it is so unequal. It's like either you are ultra rich, ultra wealthy, or you are poor as hell, like super poor. And most people who are poor and live in this county are Latine folk. They're immigrants from Spanish speaking countries. At one point, at multiple points throughout the book, it talks about how these people who are coming there and immigrating to Teton County thinking that they're gonna live up this American dream, or they're going to have more options and, you know, have enough money to live. They're working for these people who are ultra rich, and they can't even get enough money as far as wages to support themselves in this county. So a lot of times there are 3 to 4 families, and in those families there are anywhere between 4 to 5 people. Walk with me now. 3 to 4 families. Each family 3 to 5 or 3 to 4, whatever. That range amount of people are living in a 2-bedroom trailer home. I will not claim to know math very well. I mean, I know some math, but I don't know it that well. I would not claim that, but the math on that it's not giving what it's supposed to have done gave. Like, you mean to tell me that you are ultra rich, that you are making, in fact, at least $30 million a year, and you cannot pay your staff an adequate wage so that they can live and survive in this town? And then while the guy who wrote the book, he was giving interviews to some of these people, some of these immigrants who immigrated to this area, and they're all like, oh no, I don't find any issue with these people. They're super nice. They're this, they're that. Like, just accolades. Because it's a 3-part book. So it's 3 sections in this book. And I believe the first one is him just talking about just the economics of it all, right? The second part is he's talking about how the ultra rich in Teton County think of themselves, think how they're being perceived, and what's really happened, like reality. And the third part of the book is talking about how people who are activists in the area, or people who want more equitable things in the area, are talking about how they're essentially disgusted or disappointed with people who have ultra wealth, who have changed the entire economy of Montana, and also benefit off so many tax breaks, and the people who are poor and have to rob Paul to pay Peter, or find a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out, that they're having a hard time getting any type of funds or resources, but they have to pay more of the taxes. It's just the inequality of it all, and you know it, right? Like, at some level I feel like you know it. Even if you haven't read this book, on some level you know that this exists. But for me to read this book and find out that the term ultra, and I may have said ultra earlier, but ultra rich exists. What do you need with $30 million a year? I'm sorry. I know a lot of people may disagree. You may feel like, Bree, for real, but what is it that you need with $30 million? Like, 100K, I can see. 150, I can see. Literally, I can see 250. I can see that. 300, depending on who you're taking care of. Like, if you the only mug in your whole family and everybody else is making below the poverty line, and you got 300K and you helping folks out, I can see it. I can see it. The math don't make sense to me. So one of the things I wrote down, I'll read the first one. I wrote, the extreme wealthy, when they move into communities and change the community based off their wealth, it gives the illusion that everything is okay, and that there has not been a dissolution, and that there is no dissolution in the middle class, and that there isn't a huge gap between those who are wealthy and those who are poor. And again, in Teton County, because there's so many ultra rich people living there, if you look it up, it will tell you, like, hold on, let me give you the facts. So I put this on the screen, and I'll put it somewhere for you to see it, even over my face. It says Teton County average per capita income in 2021 jumped 44% over the year before, at $318,000 per year. It is more than $120,000 than the second place, Pickens County, Colorado, home to Aspen. And this is my thing. So if it's over $300,000, what about those who are making $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000? Teton County, according to the books and according to Billionaire Wilderness, Teton County even makes the salary of a surgeon look like chump change. What world is that? What world would that make sense? A surgeon? A surgeon can't afford to live there? Don't get me started of how I believe that teachers should also get paid what surgeons are getting paid, but that's not the video that we're here right now. The next point I want to talk about is the book talks about the power of philanthropy and how the ultra rich uses it to not only display their wealth, but to create some kind of community that they are doing good things with their money, and how most people in really wealthy communities don't really have an answer to why they're in philanthropy or why they chose to be philanthropic when it comes to environmental issues specifically, but environmental issues, and they're just like, So the end of that got a little warped, but this is what I'm trying to say. So in the book talks about how all these ultra rich people are like, but I do philanthropy. I do this, I do this, I do all these things for the environmental sector. I do all of these things, so therefore I should be able to enjoy my wealth, live in my wealth, just do whatever I want. However, there's the ultra rich, specifically in Teton County, according to this book, will go get on their helicopters, scour the land, and be like, let me see. That's an empty lot. That's an empty lot for sale. I don't want no riffraff. So people who make less than this $318,000, I don't want no riffraff coming in and messing up what we have going on. You tell me in the comments, what's your thought process when you heard me say that? And the author talked about it several times throughout the book, how the ultra rich in Teton County, in Montana in general, are scourging land to buy just so other people can't have the land, just so other people can't build there. It's giving Christopher Columbus adjacent. It's giving settler mentality. And then the book also talks about how there are some environmental groups who don't even want the ultra rich there because they have ulterior motives and they're there for tax breaks. They're not really there for the environment, and they build these houses and these huge estates on protected land, on protected property. Sometimes I feel, and I know it's based in reality, I'm not delusional when I say this, I often feel that people think because they have money, then they can do whatever they want. And who gives a fuck about who it's affecting, how it's affecting them, or the environment? Don't give a shit. Because there is no way, going back to my previous point a couple points ago, there is no way that a person who's an immigrant, who's immigrated to this country, got all the way to goddamn Teton, Montana, for a better living, for better resources, to better themselves and their family, and you are out here living lavish in the sun. They're out there taking care of your kids, they're cleaning your home, they're catering your parties, they're cooking for your parties, and you're giving them $40,000 a year, and you are aware of the housing disparities. You are aware of all of that is happening in Teton County. And the thing that kills me the most is how every one of these ultra rich people that was interviewed in this book was like, oh, I don't want them to know that I'm rich, so I like to ride in a grungy pickup truck with some jeans and, you know, maybe a hole in my shirt, so them to know that I'm just like a regular Joe. No, you're not. And you're cosplaying poverty. That's what you're doing. You're cosplaying poverty. You can't convince me that's not what you're doing. That is a slap in these folks' face. Y'all, I got so upset that I forgot my train of thought. That is terrible. But what I'm saying is, what it boils down to is just, it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. That you just like, oh, I'm gonna just wear these jeans and have this pickup truck, and we're all wearing t-shirts, we're all good, we're a community that cares about each other. That was, I'm not even paraphrasing that. That is what repeatedly these ultra rich people said in Teton County. They said, we're all just a community, we all just care about each other. If you cared about your neighbors, why is there 3 families in one trailer? Why are people evicted on the streets? Why are there so many immigrant children, or children of immigrants, who are at the school and can't even afford lunch, don't have a bed to get to, sleeping in their family's cars, sleeping outside? You can't care. Or your caring is different from my caring. Because there's no way I'm making $30 million living in a county and there are children who are hungry. There are children who can't eat. There are children who don't have their basic needs met. There is no way I'm living in a county making at least $30 million and I are not paying my staff well. I need to even say my staff, gross. I'm not paying the people who decide to be employed by me. I guess that feels a little bit better to me. I'm not paying them nothing. It's the mental gymnastics that is lost on me. Like, what are y'all actually talking about? my battery is dying, so I'm going to try to be as fast as I can with this. So another thing I found interesting is the author was talking about how they know how their wealth is coming off, but they're just afraid of how people perceiving them, so they rather just look as normal, as a regular Joe Schmo, to combat that. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. Help. Nobody's gonna have a misconception of you. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And in my opinion, you should be helping these people out. Why are these people working for you and they don't have enough money to survive for them and their families? That will never make sense to me. And then I wrote, I don't understand why the rich try to hide their wealth other than they want to blend in and want to connect with people. But how you can connect with people if you're not being honest? I just want to know, like, how... Sorry, y'all, my camera died. And it's also just really sneaky. It's a really sneaky type, deception type of behavioral trait that you're just like, okay, I don't want them to know, I'm gonna do this on the low. I won't lie to you, every time I read this book and had to listen to the author talk about things that he asks the ultra rich and combine that with stats and how they essentially had no rebuttal that is facts and no rebuttal that makes sense. It was very frustrating to read, especially how so many of them kept saying, I'm just wearing jeans. I'm gonna wear jeans and jeans is gonna make me relatable. Are you kidding me? Is it the good American jeans from old Khloe Kardashian or what? And then a lot of them, another point I wanted to talk about is a lot of them truly believed in their heart that a lot of people want to be ultra rich. Everybody wants to be ultra rich. That is just a goal that everybody want to set, and they need to just pick themselves up by their bootstraps. And when I tell you picking yourself up by your bootstraps is one of the most ableist, classist, and disheartening phrases that every time I see somebody use it, I want to fly across the room to them. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. Fly. So then another part I want to address is how serious the book was about addressing meritocracy as it relates to these people being rich, and as it relates to them engaging in capitalism, being like, I earned this, and because I earned this, that means that I can do whatever I want, and that I should be able to keep all of this and hoard this wealth and all of these things because of merit. And merit is one of the biggest downfalls of our society. It really is. It doesn't make any sense. I remember one time I was in a panel and it was me and a bunch of women of color talking about our lives and higher education and how, you know, there's some challenges that comes along with being a woman of color and in higher education. And one of the women, she's now a doctor now, she was pregnant at the time, and she was like, you know, sometimes I get really hard on myself. Mediocre ass white men don't feel this way. To put it in more terms, mediocre cisgender white men do not feel this way. And I just, that is literally, she said that over what, 6-7 years ago, and it's here because there are so many times, and a lot of people in the book community, even outside the book community, know how hard I work, and I be working hard. And it's just something that has been put into me, and I've been trying to live that soft life of being like, you don't need to be out here shucking and jiving kind of situation. But every time I think about, oh, I need to do this and do that, or try to uphold to the level of meritocracy, that is a hard word for me to say. When I try to strive for that, I'd be like, you don't need to do all of this. You don't, Bree. You don't need to do it all. But our system in America is so built on it. Oh, merit. Oh, this. Oh, you have to have this status. Do this. Do that. It is so engraved with so many things. So many things. So it's hard to not look at it. But the way that the ultra rich is talking about merit and using merit as an excuse for their atrocities in this book is very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. Cause to me, how I might be extended, I might be reaching, but to me it's like, okay, so a child didn't work hard enough to get money for their lunch, so therefore they don't deserve it. Maybe I might be tripping, but that is what at first I'm thinking about. The children, I'm thinking about how hard these parents worked to get to fucking Teton County and have to work for this rich person, because most of the people who are rich or are ultra rich in Teton County are white, and to have to go there, work your butt off to not even get a livable wage. Inflation is high in Teton County. Like, how do you sleep at night knowing that? And the thing also that the book talked about is, like, let's say this woman, she's a single woman, she immigrated to America, went to Teton County with her and her 3 kids. Real story in the book. And she goes and worked for this really rich man, and I think he made I think he was worth billions of dollars, this man. She would work for him every day, then leave his job to go work another job, then leave that job to work another job. So when I'm saying that there are 2 to 3 families in this trailer, I'm telling you that there are 2 to 3 families in one trailer. Every adult have at least 3 jobs. At least 3 jobs in a 2-bedroom trailer. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed. Ashamed. Embarrassed. What? And then the amount of houseless people in this county, where they have people who are living there that can help offset some of that, it is truly disheartening. It is truly disheartening. And this book just really opened my eyes, not to only just wealth and capitalism, but also greed and settler-like behavior. Like, greed is a motherfucker. It really is. And I won't lie to you, sometimes greed even gets me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, I gotta have 12 all these jobs, and then I'm like, but because I need to be money. Because once you've been poor and you get to where I'm at, and you don't want to be poor no more. You cannot do it. And especially when it's just you taking care of you, you get a little scared. You have some trauma related to money. So I have to actively work against that. Actively tell myself, nope, you don't need that. Nope, you don't need that. Well, maybe you might need that, but nope, you don't need that. Somebody else can use that. Somebody else can need. Like, it is a conscious decision. A conscious decision to do. And I'm not saying I'm better than these people or these people are better than me. I'm just saying we are living in 2 different worlds. Because I will say it again, and I know I've said it several times in this video, I do not understand how you have a family working for you and you make at least $30 million and they don't have a livable wage. In a county where you and your friends have impacted the income of the area, you have impacted the cost of living in the area because of your wealth. Your wealth is a direct correlation to what they're going through. And you are just, and maybe there is somebody in there who are paying people who are working for them a livable wage. But I didn't see it in this book. Not with the people that was interviewed. And granted, he didn't interview everybody. Because also the way, or the responses that the responses of the people that work for the ultra rich in this book felt like they were scared. It felt like they didn't want to say their full truth because they were afraid that this will come back on them, or that they would lose their jobs, because that job is helping them put food not only in their mouths but their children's mouths and their family members' mouths. And I totally understand that. I totally understand being like, look, I'm just gonna have to just pretend like everything is okay, or put up a front that these are all nice people, because literally they can enact some type of revenge. I don't want my children to be a bystander of it. But this book was just heartbreaking to know that this is the actual living reality of people in the United States. And the thing is, I on a level knew but didn't know. Does that make sense? It's like when I read The Color of Law. And The Color of Law is a forgotten history of how our government segregated America. And it talks about like redlining and districts, and how certain policies that were done by presidents in the past, and the things that they have done to really uphold like segregation as it pertains to where you live, or how many resources you can get, or what your schools look like, what kind of access to certain books or certain things. It's just, reading this just really made me think like, y'all really hate people of color in America. Y'all really do. Y'all really do. And y'all it's so insidious that it's happening through the law. And I'm still like, Montana, why are you taxing these people? People don't have to pay taxes if they're making a certain amount of money. And it's very easy for you to get residency in Montana. Very easy for you to get residency there. And a lot of these ultra rich people that the author was talking about and was meeting with live there for like a month, 2 weeks out of a year. What? But claiming residency in Montana while having other homes in other states. Whew, this book was a whirlwind for me. I'm just gonna tell you that. I was like, it took me so long to finish it because I was so mad. I was so mad reading this book. I will say it's definitely, I would say it's that book and The Color of Law and About Love. About Love will help you understand of why I'm so angry that children are not being prioritized in this county. Why are there houseless children? Why are there houseless students? Be for real. Be for real. Anyway, I do want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for listening to me as I talk about all the different points that I wanted to talk about in this book. There's definitely way more that I could talk about, but I didn't want to make this like a 40-minute video. But I am still soaking it in. Still soaking in just the unbelievable shit that was in this book. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I think at one time I do want to own a Billionaire Wilderness so I can go back and highlight, because I listened to the audiobook, and wow, people are really messed up. They really are. They really are, and don't care about the people. That's just really how I feel. So again, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.